I'm looking at the New 52 Wonder Woman Volume 1 Blood. It's credited on the bottom with Brian Azzarello, Cliff Chang, and Tony Akins. The cover is kind of indicative of what you're going to see in the book. It's an interesting idea and concept, but it almost looks like a sketch with some color, but not the finished piece. Like there still needed to be more work done. And that's often what you see throughout the artwork in here. Very like a sketch with some color, and then they're going to go in further and add some detail and some other clarity and just more to it to make it a full fleshed out story. So the art is, I would say, okay or good to poor, up and down throughout. And even on sometimes the same pages, you'll see that. The character designs for the gods are very interesting, with one exception. Hades, Zeus, Hera, all of them, Hermes. It's an interesting take. They definitely kind of went out there and tried to make them look different and put a different representation on them, which I actually appreciate. All of them except for one, which I found ridiculous. If you look at Hades, he has like candle wax like for a head, and he looks like a child. He looks ridiculous. He doesn't even look like he really belongs in this book. He looks like something else. So I'm not really sure. I think that one was a total miss. But, you know, I can forgive them that because they were trying to really go for a different look. The story is very basic, yet also you don't understand why certain things are happening. The basic story is that Wonder Woman is protecting a young girl that is pregnant with Zeus's child. And that's the whole story. Hera is trying to kill the child and the girl. Because Hera doesn't like Zeus's offspring. I suppose understandably. Near the end of the book, they introduce a character. I think his name was Lennox or something like that. But he just kind of comes out of nowhere, and he's almost like a MacGuffin device. He just comes in at that point to provide the solution to help. And this is probably my biggest complaint beyond the Hades design. Poseidon is a big fish, by the way, a weird fish. Very funny looking, but I forgive him that because he's actually hilarious. He just looks ridiculous. And I can go with that. It's like, okay, he's just a big fish. All right. Because, I mean, the Greek gods are kind of comedic in a way. They're not super serious in that sense. So, I mean, I can understand a little bit of silliness being thrown in there. But at the end of the book, Hera is about to, I guess, kill the girl, and Poseidon, Hades, and Wonder Woman are there, Hermes. And they take a piece of Hades' head, the candle, and throw it. And Hera is like teleported back to Olympus, which I don't see is really a problem because she can just come back right back down, right? I mean, shortly. Maybe it delays her for an hour or something. I don't know. And Wonder Woman is there with her, and then she kind of like teleports out, or she's just an image. Again, I'm not real clear on what that is. Maybe she was never there to begin with, and they've cracked her little seeing eye mirror thing that she was using. That, again, I don't really know, because then she just walks over the crack in the picture. So, I mean, it all happened in, like, a 2-page spread, pretty much, the whole thing. And I reread it to see if I'd missed some explanation of something, and I didn't see any. So I have no idea why that worked and why that would work in the future. I am somewhat interested to read the volume 2, just to see if it improves, if it picks up. Because there are some elements in here that are interesting. For example, Hera comes to Paradise Island, and she turns all the Amazons into snakes except for Hippolyta, and turns her into a stone statue. The Medusa kind of Gorgon effect, I guess, in some ways are echoing there. But there's also sometimes just some weird, bizarre things that like they do have every once in a while a line that seems to come out of nowhere that doesn't really make much sense. When Hermes meets the girl, She says that she likes a lot of men because she couldn't remember what form Zeus took to get her pregnant, because she likes a lot of men. And that seems bizarre, because if a god is going to impregnate you, he says it takes the most lustful form. Well, that would have stood out in her mind as probably the most, compelling one, instead of just a string. And then Hermes says, well, that's okay that you like a lot of men. And that seemed also weird, because maybe it's not okay. Like, we don't know that much about her situation. She comes apparently from a broken home, and her dad is currently in jail, like serving a life sentence for some horrible crime. Maybe that isn't the best thing. But we don't know enough about her to, one, even decide if we want to get involved in, judging her actions or whatnot. I mean, it seems kind of pointless because it's all after the fact now. And there's no relationships really in the book, like sexual relationships, so to speak. This is all people trying to complete things and objectives. And now they do talk about past relationships and things like that, but there's no romancing in this book, which is fine. It's probably appropriate. They're trying to keep it on the nose. And then Wonder Woman, after she finds out that she wasn't made of clay but Zeus's daughter, again, this is something I don't understand. It's like if you thought that your dad was like a murderer, and then you find out, oh no, he was a president in the United States. Oh, well, that seems more positive. You were made out of clay, so you never have a father. Okay. Oh, you have a father, and he happens to be the head of the pantheon of the Greek gods. Oh, that seems to be a positive. And even if you're upset that people lied about it to you, I mean, it's like checking your bank account and you have, like 10 grand more in there. It's like, well, that's surprising. And I'm upset that my employer lied to me about how much they paid me, but it was in the end a positive. So, you can't seem to get over it. And she goes to a metal concert. I'm not sure why Wonder Woman's going to a metal concert. I feel like this is probably just the authors trying to either insert their own personal taste or trying to make Wonder Woman edgy, which I don't feel that she's really edgy. She's a leader, not moping around really. That's not big in the warrior mindset. So like I said, I have to say the book is a mixed bag. The price that it has on the back is $22.99 USA. I actually took this from the library. I have a library card. Don't worry about it. I didn't steal it. I checked it out from the library. And it's definitely worth a read if you can get a read for free, basically for no cost, like from the library or something like that. I would not pay full cover price for this, though. That price is insanely high, especially given the lack of quality control on the artwork from page to page. So there's kind of just a little talk about the Wonder Woman Volume 1 Blood by Brian Azzarello, Cliff Chiang, and Tony Akins. Those are the credits on the front. And I hope this was useful if you ever were interested in picking it up or looking at it and giving it a read. I haven't read a whole lot of Wonder Woman only books, so I can't comment as to the history of the character and the quality. I've only really read her in conjunction with other heroes, so I've always wondered if she works best more in a team or if she works best alone. Because like Batman, while it's interesting to see him as a team up, with Superman particularly is the best one, but he doesn't really work in teams that well, in my personal opinion. They do manage to, like in the Justice League animated series and things, make it work, but I don't feel that's his strength. His strength is in Gotham, with his Bat family, so to speak. And that's where he's strongest. But even that given aside, that would tend to let me know that Wonder Woman probably works best in a team setting more than just on her own. But again, that's just one book out of obviously years and years and years of history. So that wouldn't be, comprehensive in any way. If you have any questions or if you have any comments to add below, especially if you've read already the volume 2 and if it continues the same sort of quality that we've seen or lack of quality control, consistent quality I would say in there, please let me know. Thank you.